Hi everyone and welcome back to the Gamma mod pack for Stalker. Now, let's first talk about a few things before we get on to healing and everything else. So first, I know there are a lot of new people coming here, and due to popular demand I'm doing this video on healing. I just want to say that remember that this is all provided by Grok, who puts the mod pack together for free, and the ModDB people are providing the services to download it for free. And I know there's been issues because of the sheer volume of people that have been trying to download this. None of this was ever set up for that volume of people. Please remember it's all being provided for free, and send some love to Grok and the mod database people and, you know, all the other modders that make the individual mods that make this up. I realise that some people have been frustrated by the install process having issues, but just bear in mind that it was never set up to, you know, be that big. It was never designed that way. It was expected that only a certain amount of people would download it and it wouldn't become so suddenly popular. So, you know, give them a little bit of respect, guys. It's not their fault that there's been a sudden massive increase in interest for something they're providing for free. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to mention is I am running on an older version of the Gamma mod pack. The reason for that is I could start a new game with the new version and download it and everything, but then you'd have to wait a week for this video because it would take me that long to get enough money together to show you everything I want to show you. So I'd rather show you in my old save, where very little has changed in terms of the healing as far as I'm aware, so everything should be relevant. The only thing that I think has changed is the campfire mechanisms have changed. If I crouch near a campfire, I don't heal. But my understanding is that in the newer version, if you crouch near a campfire, you will heal your main health pool, and we will talk about that. We'll talk about what is the main health pool. So the first thing I want to say before I get on to blabbering on, if you would like to keep this very simple and you don't want to watch my video, that is absolutely fine. Go to your PDA in-game, click on Guide, click on Gamma Manual down here, and then click on Healing and Medicines. And I apologize, my vision is a bit blurry because my character is tired. But that gives you the basics of how to heal and about first aid healing and post healing. Now, one way to heal in this game is to sleep. If you sleep, you will heal your limbs and you will heal your main health pool. So let's first talk about that in the bottom corner, and I'll zoom in on that now so you can have a little look. So first you have the little body symbol in the middle. That is your main health pool. If that goes to 0, you are dead. So that's a bit like your normal HP bar in other games. Then on top of that, you have your little bars at the sides. So the bars at the sides, H, T, R, A, L, A, you get the idea. These are your limbs and your head and your torso. So head, torso at the top, right arm, right leg, left leg. Simple as that. At the top there, you can see your psi or your psychic. And then at the bottom you can see there's a little symbol for radiation, and that will fill up as you become more irradiated. And at the very bottom, the little power symbol or lightning symbol is your stamina bar. And there are health kits that relate to most of this. So if I bring up my inventory, sorry, there are going to be spoilers here. There are going to be items that you don't see, but I didn't get too far in this save, so it won't spoil the end of the game or anything like that, but you will see items that you won't necessarily have at the start. But I'm going to scroll down here and you see I have 3 rows here of healing items, various healing items which have various symbols on them. Let's start with the easy stuff. There are some here with a yellow radiation symbol on. Obviously this relates to radiation level and reducing it. So this item here is an anti-radiation drug, pretty much what it says on the tin. Its duration is 10 seconds. Over those 10 seconds it will reduce your radiation by 240 millisieverts. And it will make you hungry. It will also make you slightly tired, slightly thirsty, and generally it's unhealthy to take it. So, you know, these will all have additional effect besides what they do. So I can select another one, for example. This is cysteamine, which again will do a duration of 231 seconds. It will give you radiation resistance, of 35%, and it will make you hungry and slightly sleepy. But you get the idea. I should say that the difference between these two is obviously the anti-radiation drugs reduce your radiation level, and the cysteamine give you radiation resistance. So make sure when you look at an item you read it. If I go on to the next one here, this is potassium iodide, which reduces your radiation level of the radiation you've already got, rather than provide you a resistance. So just make sure you read each individual item, it will help. The next one we'll have a quick look at, just because they're ones that you won't use too frequently, but they will come and go. The next one is this here, which is basically a set of lungs. The blue symbol is a set of lungs. This improves your stamina recovery rate. Again, it will last for a duration. Your stamina recovery will be plus 80 of adrenaline for that period. This one will also increase your weight carried, which is an additional benefit. It might not be that every single one of these will increase your weight, but this will allow you to carry 2.653 kilograms more of item weight, bearing in mind that everything in the game has a weight. So something to bear in mind when you're picking up all of those damaged guns. Other important ones to mention are this, which is your psychic resistance. So anything with the little head and the little lines above it relate to your psychic resistance. Psychic resistance is important for certain anomalies and against certain enemies you will face. However, it does not help you with certain story quests. So I'm not going to give you spoilers on how to solve that, but you will encounter story quests which have a very high level of psychic attack or psychic damage. And you will not be able to do those by just taking meds for the most part. You will potentially need special items. Again, I'm not going to spoil that for you. You can Google this. You can look on YouTube. There are videos on what you need to get through those areas, because this sort of stuff was in previous versions of the game, including Standard Anomaly, I believe, and perhaps even the original Stalker, but I'm sorry I didn't play either of those. So what's left is probably the most important stuff, and that's why I've saved it till last. I will quickly mention one little symbol here which you don't see very often on very many items, and that is this, which looks like an armor vest, the little white armor vest there. This gives you a damage resistance bonus. Basically, it's magic. It's effectively giving you fictitious armor, I suppose. I have never actually used it. They have just sat in my inventory forever. I don't think I've ever been in such a big fight I've needed it, or when I've been in a fight I've not been quite with it enough to use it. So that is certainly an option. So that's something that is there. It gives you a very large damage resistance bonus. You will find them smattered about in the game, but that's not the important ones. The important three, which you will use from the get-go in the game and need on a regular basis, are the blood drop, which is on the bandages, which you were likely started with, and obviously the tourniquet. Also the red heart, which relates to first aid healing, and the white heart, which relates to post healing. So the first thing we'll talk about is the bleeding control. If you get shot, damaged, or anything else, certain attacks and damage will cause you to bleed. You can bleed to death. As you bleed out, your main health pool, the shape of a person in the middle, will gradually decrease and you will bleed to death. So it's very important to be able to stop that bleeding. So stopping the bleeding are things like bandages, tourniquets. There are various drugs such as Vinca that can do that as well. Some of these items have additional bonuses and additional healing. For example, the bandage and the tourniquet will also heal or provide first aid to your torso, arms and legs in the case of the bandage. So if I go away from it, you'll notice my torso and left leg are red at the bottom. If I then hover over the bandage, you will notice that the torso and left leg go yellow. The torso has not gone completely yellow. There is still a little bit of red at the edge there. That is because there isn't enough strength in this to completely heal the torso, and that relates to the little dots next to the T, A and L on the first aid line under properties. The more dots there are, the more powerful its healing capability is. If I go down to the tourniquet, that will heal, or first aid heal, arms and legs completely. It will not, however, heal the torso, which is now completely red again. If I go along here to the first aid kit, this has a red heart, so it provides health restoration, which is one of the reasons for that heart being there. The other thing is it does first aid healing, H, T, A and L. So this will strongly heal my head and torso and marginally heal my arms and legs. But as you can see, you need less dots next to the arms and legs to heal the arms and legs fully. Don't ask me why, that's just the way it's set up. Just to give you that idea, obviously, we had 2 dots on the torso previously, but it didn't fully heal the torso, but it does fully heal the left leg. Now, there are loads of items that will do first aid healing, and you just need to sort of go through them. Bearing in mind that, generally speaking, a red heart will also heal your main health pool. So, you know, this here will do first aid, but it doesn't have a red heart on it. The items here, which have a red heart on, do health restoration. Whereas the items with a white heart do... It's difficult to explain because I don't feel like all the items have all of the little icons on that they should. For example, for me, I feel as though anything that does first aid should probably have the little red heart on. But they're also trying to get at the fact that the red heart also stipulates health restoration. It sounds really convoluted, doesn't it? But it honestly isn't. It's just because of the sheer amount of items in the game that do it. Let's bring it back to basics. Now we've gone over all of these little symbols. I have a damaged torso, I have a damaged left leg, and my main health pool is down to my shoulders. I want to heal myself. I would like to heal everything to full. So I need to find a relevant item. One of the best ways to do this is to go for the first aid kit and then a post-heal item, which we will talk about in a moment. So I can now use this and it will give me health restoration of 3% for 34 seconds, which will fully heal my body right now, because I'm only missing the top part of my head, basically. It will also provide a temporary first aid heal. And that is the most important thing to note about first aid healing. This is temporary, it will go away over time. Do bear that in mind. After I use this, I will need to post-heal myself. Good items for this are ibuprofen, which you get 3 uses for. This will post-heal your arms and legs. It will not, however, post-heal my torso. So it's only useful for arms and legs. Side effects of using post-heals are dizziness, thirstiness, and sleepiness. And obviously it makes you more hungry. Fair enough. As you can see when I'm hovering over it, it does affect the bottom part of my status in the inventory. So as you can see, there are little red bars now against my sleeping, my food, and my water. However, it does show that my health will go up. That's the top bar. If I go across to the Yadulin, which is a variation of morphine, this is going to heal my head, torso, arms, and legs with post-heals. Now, the reason for post-heals is they are the permanent heals in the game. Now, again, this will give you some health restoration, 1% for 263 seconds, technically. Again, it will cause severe dizziness, and when I use it, because that's what I'm going to use, you will see how dizzy it makes me. And this is one thing to remember. If you are in a current fight or firefight, first aid's great, because it gives you that temporary heal, it'll stop you bleeding if you use a tourniquet, etc, etc, etc. However, if you then use a post-heal, you're going to become potentially very dizzy and not be able to shoot anything. Good time to get a shotgun out and, you know, blast everything with pellets rather than, you know, your main gun trying to shoot stuff. So, let's heal. Okay, we've stood here and we've talked through everything. Let's heal. So, we right-click and use the first aid kit. And there we go. You can see that, okay, now I'm even more thirsty and even more tired than I was. But I have a little radiation symbol there, which means that my radiation will be being healed, because that is another benefit of the first aid kit. You can also see I have a little plus down there now in the corner, which is symbolizing that I am now healing. And you'll notice that my main health pool is now full. The head is white, it is no longer red. You will also notice that T and left leg, so the torso and left leg, are now yellow. I will now go to my Yadulin, use one and fully heal that. You notice if I hover over it, it's gone completely white. So I'm going to use that. And we've only taking a few pills. There we go. And now I'm very, very dizzy. And I'm going to pull out my weapon. And as you can see, I am all over the place. I can zoom in. As you can imagine, this is going to make shooting stuff very difficult. Not ideal at all. So, there are benefits to not using a post-heal while you're in the middle of a fight. Especially if it's one as strong as Yadulin, which will make you very dizzy. This effect doesn't last too long though, so, you know, you can wait. Let me put that away, and we quickly go back to our inventory. In terms of food and drink and things like that, you will notice that alcohol is something that can reduce your radiation, and smoking also reduces radiation level. It's a magical effect in the game. I'm not going to say that that works in real life, but it does work in the game. So basically, we've covered all of the basics of healing there. The items, what the little symbols generally mean. Obviously, the little red heart is a bit of a mixed bag. It denotes health restoration, but it also denotes first aid on a lot of these items. And then the white heart donates post-heals, but also health restoration on a lot of these items. So it's a little bit convoluted, but in essence, you are looking for bandages, tourniquets, first aid kits, and things like ibuprofen, because you get your arms and legs damaged a lot more than you do your head and your torso usually. They're going to be the most important things for you to find and use for healing. Now, my understanding is that since my version of the game, there have been a couple of changes to the healing situation. Not the items necessarily, but if I come round here, I can't guarantee you the colours haven't changed incidentally on these bars, but the essence should be the same. Campfires now heal you, not your limbs though. Campfires will heal your main health pool if you sit and crouch at them in the most recent version of the mod pack. That's how I understand it. I have not tested this myself, but from what people are saying on comments on my videos, and also on the official Discord, crouching, like this, next to a campfire, now heals your main health pool. That doesn't appear to be the case in my version of the mod pack, but as I say, there have been additions. The other way to heal, which will save you a lot of hassle and a lot of money early game, is going to sleep. Not only does sleeping obviously give you rest, which you need to do, it will also potentially fully heal your arms, legs, torso and head, and your main body. so your main health pool. So sleeping is very beneficial in this game. It does heal everything. I don't see any reason that that has changed in the latest version of the mod. Now, there are additional items which will give you benefits in terms of items you find in the anomaly sites. So if I have a quick run round here to my stash, please note that my stashes are different to the current version of the game. You can see here that a chain provides a small health and stamina regen. It's a way to get health regen for the main health pool. So if you are utilizing this, that's beneficial, basically. And there are different ones. There's also a signet, which I believe relates to the campfire healing, from what I can deduct on the Discord. So that's as much as you should need to know to get a handle on healing in the game. Genuinely, the most important things are stopping bleeding, first aid healing, and then post healing. Everything else will come naturally as you play the game, such as reducing your radiation and increasing your psych resistance. The stamina regen stuff I have very rarely used. I've more likely used a caffeine tablet because I wanted the extra carry weight, and that's why I have so many on me, because sometimes you just want to carry that one extra gun you've picked up. But I hope that has been helpful. I will note there are medics in the game that will heal you for a price. I'm not going to tell you where they are, but they do exist. Please do like, share, subscribe. If there is something else you would like to see a guide for in Gamma, please leave a comment below, and if I can think of a sensible way to do it, I will. But I can't promise you I know everything about this game. I was starting out in this game as a complete novice. Just like many of you are, I didn't play the original Stalker very much. I'd never played Anomaly, so I'm learning as I go. But I will try and help where I can. Now, for those of you who are still confused and would like more information, stay with me for a couple more minutes. I'm going to make a little diagram and talk through it as to how all these things link together, because I know some people will learn easier from seeing it in-game and me actually doing it, which I've done, and some people will learn better from a little diagram. So stay with me if you want to see that. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I hope it was helpful. So now, for those of you who are staying around just for this very simple sort of diagram, because I know some people will learn easier this way than me showing them in the game. First thing I'm going to say is, for any healing items, please, 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 please read what they do on the item description itself. That is the most important thing you can do. Learn what all of those items do, rather than just rely on the few items I've got here, because many of them do more and better things, but I want to keep this really simple. So first, we have health damage, which is the main health pool in the central body, and then we have damage to the limbs, which can be the head, torso, right arm, right leg, or left leg. Here you can see, as I did in the video, I have damage to my health pool, the central body, and I have damage to my torso and left leg. First thing you want to do is use an item with first aid to get a temporary heal on those limbs. So a first aid kit will heal your main health pool, and it will apply a temp heal to your limbs. That's the yellow heal. It's temporary, it will gradually degrade over time. Next, you want to use a post heal item to apply a permanent limb heal. So a permanent limb heal in this case would be from the Yandulin, and that will make all of those limbs go white. Okay? Different ones will affect different parts of the body, and as discussed in the video, that is denoted by whether it says H, T, A or L. All of them perhaps, one of them, just two of them, and then the amount it will heal is denoted by the number of dots. Please note, if you are bleeding, Use an item to stop the bleeding before applying any other heals, such as a bandage or a tourniquet. Other items will also provide the ability to stop you bleeding. Please again read the item descriptions, they will explain it, but you will continue bleeding even if you use other heals that do not stop the bleeding. So you will eventually still die, so it is important that you stop the bleeding if you are bleeding in that situation. And that's the basics. It is that simple in the grand scheme of things. There's just a lot of items and a lot of bluster around it, but in essence you need to stop the bleeding, as you would in real life. You need to stop bleeding. Then you need to do a temporary heal to your limbs, which is likely going to heal your main body as well, because most of those items heal your main body, your main health pool. And then you need to use a post-heal item, one of the items with the white heart, and please check the item description in case there is a mistake with those icons. But you should be fine with something like the Andulin, but please do pay attention to what they apply a heal to in the item description, be that head, torso, arms or legs, all four, two of them, one of them, who knows, all the items are different. Please take the time to read them. And that's it, simple as that. I hope this video was helpful. Please do like, share and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, as I say, if there is anything else you would like to see a guide on. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to say I'm going to do a guide for everything, but if it's something straightforward that I understand myself, then I will attempt to do so. Do check out the other guides in the channel. There is a getting started guide for this game, or this mod pack, and there is also a repair guide on the channel. Please watch the video. I do discuss in detail how to repair various things, including repairing a pistol from scratch at the end. So please do have a watch of that. It will be beneficial to you if you are struggling in those areas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.